if you don't know what's going on nowadays, is there's this big bifurcation in venture that's occurring. 75% of the dollars are going to, top 10 firms. It's billions of dollars. They're turning into RIAs, which are retail investment advisors. So it's these huge shops managing tens of billions of dollars. Andreessen Horowitz, Sequoia, Lightspeed, General Catalyst. And these are just absolute juggernauts. And I wouldn't necessarily call them venture capital anymore, to tell you the truth.
Right.
And I'm going somewhere with this. It just may take a little while. So excuse me.
We don't have a gong.
Actually, we
do have a gong in the main room, but not for this.
Excuse my meandering, right? So, but it's important to the story. So you have these massive firms that once were very, very innovative shops, and they really coalesced around. They brought themselves back to Silicon Valley. So if you hear any of the podcasts, you hear people talking about how the greats, the people that I grew up kind of saying, oh my God, these guys make such great investments, like Peter Fenton and Ben Horowitz and all the guys from Sequoia and Index and so on and so forth. And they say, this is the place, this is the only place, this will be the place forever, San Francisco. It drives me fucking nuts for obvious reasons. I mean, for anybody to have kind of for anybody to have the hubris to say, okay, like oceans rise and empires fall. Do you remember Rome, right? Like there's never been a time where there hasn't been an empire or an organization that hasn't fallen. So for them to all say, San Francisco is the only place you can do venture capital and create artificial intelligence technology and do all of these things forever, full stop. It's like, you don't know if San Francisco is going to be the Borderlands or Fallout in 50 years, never mind anything else. But putting all of that aside, that's the art that they're practicing or the science that they're practicing. They're moving tens of billions of dollars. They're doing it into a very certain set of companies. It becomes consensus capital. With all that being said, I'm invested in some of these firms. So it does have a place. And if you want to move $100 million check, like most pensions, then this is a good place to park your money because you can't go wrong betting on IBM. And you can get your classic 2 to 3x over X, 10-year period of time, so on and so forth. What we're seeing now is that on the other end of the barbell, there's still a huge demand and a huge space for craft venture capital firms, the sub-$100 million vehicles, people that can be nimble, people that are truffle pigs, people that are, pirates, people that are once entrepreneurs, and you're seeing a lot of these, and they're amazing. And they're sitting there and they're saying, I'm going to raise $100 million or less, and I'm going to go and get as early as humanly possible, invest with conviction, try to get ownerships, invest at a sub-10, sub-$20 million valuation, and try to help those companies create optionality to the point where they can get to the Andreessen Horowitzes and the Sequoias and so on and so forth. And there's just such a massive amount of alpha at that stage. And by alpha, I mean you can get an 8x or a 10x on a fund. Historically, there's been no fund that's greater than $100 million that's created greater than a 5x return.
Right.
So,
our experience, we've only seen the greater than 4x returns on the first two checks we write, which are pre-seed and seed.
Totally.
And we're tiny,
No.
We're not in your league or theirs by any stretch.
So that's exactly it. I mean, it's math, right, at the end of the day. And there's a place for both of these types. So when I was making the choice to get into venture capital, it was, join the Navy or be a pirate. Joining the Navy would have been more lucrative and probably a little bit more palatable to my wife and my family at the time, because those become kind of fee machines, and you're guaranteed, a certain amount of money and a lifestyle and so on and so forth. But I would say that the more entrepreneurial effort for the rank and file at venture capital firms comes from becoming a pirate, I would say, and building your own kind of firm and your own brand and so on and so forth.